Welcome to Nkanizatu, the pod that tells indigenous stories every day, the platform that tells you what's good and what's odd for young people and elderly alike in the areas of art, history, and culture preservation. And now your host, Rinah Kasongo.
Hi, I'm back again with your yet another favorite storyteller on Nkanizatu podcast. What we do here is that we invite authors, writers, producers, the filmmakers, cultural experts, and enthusiasts, the artists, you name it. And it is very exciting today. Why I am very excited about this episode is because this is the very first time on Nkanizatu we are having someone who's non-Zambian. So you can imagine what I have in store for you and what this storyteller has in store for us all. I cannot wait. Joe, you are welcome on Nkanizatu episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Please tell me again who you are, what you do, things like that, so that someone that's listening, watching you, maybe like, okay, I'm going to stick around.
So my name is Njagu. I'm a Zimbabwean storyteller who uses film as a medium to tell stories. I've been a filmmaker based in Zimbabwe, run a production company based in Harare, and been focusing mostly on feature films. And right now, of late, we've been making stories that are inspired by or based on true stories, really hinging on that, trying to push the African narrative, positively changing it one film at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does Joe do away from film?
Away from film, Joe does film. This is my life practically every day, like for the last 20 years. Yeah, this is all I do. I'm a storyteller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into the storytelling aspect, what is your favorite meal?
Oh wow. Anything with peanut butter in it, like rice and peanut butter. Yeah. I love fish a lot. Yeah. So anything with peanut butter, I'm game.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also get to do it in Zimbabwe where you mix vegetables with peanuts.
Yes. So it depends with what kind of veggies you're using. So it could be like mubora with peanut butter, which is like pumpkin leaves. I love those. Or like kovo,
So the
which is like kale.
What do you call them in Zimbabwe?
Mubora.
We call it
Mu-
chihuahua here.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Oh,
Chihuahua.
okay.
Yeah.
We call it mubora.
Mubora.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know.
It's the same veg, but just different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you also like one of those mixed vegetables?
I do. We're actually having that today. Like we're planning on cooking some. We actually bought some rape. I don't know what you guys call it. Like
It's right.
yeah, and peanut butter. So that's what we're gonna have for lunch today.
Okay, you guys are going to cook it or someone is cooking that for you?
Someone is gonna cook it for us. But yeah, that's what we're gonna have today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ifsash, as we call it ifsash.
Okay. Interesting.
It's really the same
Yeah.
plant, just different ways of doing things.
There's something I tried the other day. The person said it was like Zambian polony. So
Chikanda.
aha.
Yeah.
That was really interesting.
It's soft.
Yes.
brown,
It
red.
tastes like polony
Uh-huh.
and kind of like with chili in it.
Yes.
Yeah. That was I really liked it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm basically just thinking, say it's the same land. We just
It is.
grew up in different
It
spaces.
is.
All in all, I think
Yeah.
we're just one village.
Yeah.
Zambia, Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Same people. hmm
Nice.
Yeah.
Now we get back to the film.
Yeah.
I understand you've done quite a number of stories
Yeah.
through film, right? Before we get to that, how did you start out as a filmmaker?
How did I start as a filmmaker? Interesting. So from as far as I can remember, I've always been interested in stories, in telling stories, like in writing stories. Like the other day, I discovered like this counter book, which I used to write in the 90s, and I would write this like a sitcom called Housekeeping, and I had no idea how to write a script or anything, so I just write in like paragraph form, right? And so I think writing has always been in me. I feel like it's a job that's driven by a gift, and gifts come from God. So we're all gifted differently, right? And I think writing is one of those gifts that I have. But from back then, right? I remember in high school, the one time You know, in school they used to tell you like when you come back from holiday, write a composition about the day I will never forget during the holiday. So I wrote this like 2-page composition, which was crazy. It was like a movie, right? And our English teacher, who was called Mr. Munyanadzi, I'll never forget his name. So he marked the thing, and then I think it was out of 25, he gave me a 23. And then afterwards, so the days we went to school, like would get canned, right? I don't know if it still happens now.
No,
So he calls me to his office, and he cans me. He's like, "Who wrote this for you?" Right? I'm like, "What do you mean who wrote this? I wrote it." Like, "No, you're lying. There's no way you wrote this." And he beat me. Right?
it was too good.
Yeah. And then the next week, he gave us an exercise in class. It's like, write about this right now, right? And I wrote another crazy thing. So he figured like, oh, I'm actually the one who's writing this stuff. So he became that one person who started encouraging me to say, oh, you're actually good at this writing thing. Keep at it, right? But I had no idea. At first, I thought maybe I would end up being like an author, writing books. I didn't know what outlet was gonna come out of that, right? But on the other side, I was super interested and hooked in watching films. Like I would watch films a lot. You know, that kid where a film ends, I'll still be sitting there reading the credits, wondering, okay, best boy, gaffer. I had no idea what those names of people are, but in my head I was like, for this thing to come out, all those people were behind. So I always had that interest, right? So it was a combination of how my interest in storytelling through writing, and then film becoming the medium for the outlet of what I write. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've always been writing like ever since for as long as I can remember.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I understand your first, Cook-Off, right?
Yeah.
Was the first Zimbabwean film to make it to Netflix.
Yes.
How was that like? First of all, how did it feel for you, and then what was the process leading to that moment?
So with Cook-Off, Cook-Off was a baby of collaboration, right? Where, you know, like I'm sure you're familiar, like in our small countries, right, we don't have big industries, right? So for us to thrive, we tend to sort of like rely on each other to say, let's collaborate, let's come together. So Cook-Off was that. Cook-Off was that example of saying, okay, let's try coming together and let's see what comes out, right? So this was so many different people, so many different companies coming together. I had the privilege of producing it as a producer, and we all came together, made Cook-Off, and from the get-go, the plan was, let's see what we can make together and push it as far as we can. So we deliberately like say, okay, let's make this and let's push. And it took a long time until we got to Netflix, because we started doing like festival rounds. I think we went to over, I don't know, like 40, 50 festivals around the world, you know, with it, until it ended up getting to be on Netflix. Yeah, which was something that was really encouraging, you know, for us, for Zimbabwe, for the industry, because we're all pushing and thriving to get a better industry and success in all we're doing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that you mentioned collaboration.
Yeah.
I think even as we are speaking to Joe right now,
Yeah.
there's been a whole team that has
Yes.
invested and works towards
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
Mirage.
Yes. It's never a one-man job. No. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I understand also that is it two of your films were screened at Sotambe.
Yes.
Sotambe,
Yes.
Zambia International.
Yeah. So we had a film called Mirage, which was directed by Malaika Mshandu, and I produced. And we also had a film called Ngoda, which I co-directed with Eddie Sandifolo, and I wrote and co-produced as well. Yeah. So
How did these two films get to Sotambe?
Sotambe.
What are they doing in Zambia? In Zambia right now.
So to be honest, like I've always been super interested in exploring what can come out between our two countries. This is not my first time in Zambia. I've always been coming here. I know a lot of filmmakers here. I know a lot of players in the creative industry, and with collaboration, it just doesn't happen just like that. You have to create a relationship. I can't just come today and let's collaborate, let's start a company tomorrow. No. So we need to have a relationship. We need to create a synergy to see, do we get along? Will it work? So for me, really, I'm really excited to be at Sotambe, because like even our two films being here, and even the response we're getting, it's showing that like, okay, we're one people, Zimbabwe and Zambia. Like people are getting our stories. Like it's so I think for us, for our two countries, it's a no-brainer that we have to collaborate and start making content for people because we consume content the same way. Yeah, we're pretty much the same culture and
I
language.
was looking at Ngoda and I'm like, this is like a village.
Exactly.
My
Could be
village
could be anywhere
in
here.
the northern part of Zambia.
Exactly.
Very relatable
Exactly.
environment. Even when I'm watching, it literally just felt like I've
Yeah.
just gone to my village.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there is power in
Yeah.
such storytelling.
True.
Now, because for this episode, we're going to be biased towards Ngoda.
Yeah.
First of all, what does Ngoda mean? Because I know I'm dealing with a lot of
Yes,
Zambians
yes,
listening
yes,
and watching,
yes.
but also Zimbabwe know what Ngoda
Yeah.
is, but
So-
we don't know.
So Ngoda means diamond. Yeah.
Okay.
Simply means diamond.
It's a Shona.
It's Shona. Yeah. So it's actually Shona and kind of slang as well. Yeah.
Okay.
For people when they're referring to diamond, the precious stones.
Precious stones.
Yeah.
And then what inspired you then to make a whole movie on those precious
Stones. Okay. so for us, right, like as a team, we're always brainstorming, looking for stories, like what's the next story to tell, and we're really big on like social commentary, what's happening, things that can impact society, you know what I mean? And so we do sessions where we watch a lot of films, read books, and all this. And this one time we'd watched this film called Gold, right, which is like a Australian film, really good film. And then my young brother, who plays a part in Ngoda, just goes like, guys, how about we tell a story about three brothers and a diamond, you know. So I'm like, So he's the one who actually came up with the concept in the beginning. His name is Charles. And then we started marinating on the idea of like, okay, interesting. Then to really beef it up, we're like, okay, let's give it an impact. Then we started researching, like, okay, here we have Ngoda, people were hunting Ngoda everywhere in Zimbabwe. Like, there's diamonds in Zimbabwe. And then we started doing research on that, like, okay, what stories surround this whole diamond story, right? So then we chose the path of focusing on illegal diamond miners.
Yeah.
Right, because there's always like when we started reading, like we're reading newspapers and all the and looking at stuff online, and then we're discovering like in the amount of money that's being lost from illegal diamond mining. So we're like, there's a story here, right? So we started researching, going to mines, finding out stories from even like newspapers and everything, and then what we ended up doing was the story ended up becoming a collection of all these different stories that we heard from different areas.
It's like
Yes.
inspired by
And
tributes.
yes, and then we just put them all together to become one story. Yeah, and then obviously gave it a thread of the three brothers and the diamond and all that. But it was all inspired by true events, by stuff that's actually happening or has happened in Zimbabwe.
Take us back to that. Are those, first of all, there's been there were a number of bloodshed events,
Yes.
scenes in
Yes,
the movie.
yes.
What exactly did you pick from that? Is it based on things that were actually happening in Zimbabwe,
Yes.
like people
Yes.
killing each
Yes,
other?
yes,
Diamond?
yes.
Please take us back.
yes. So it's really sad, how diamonds or how wealth will turn people against each other, the greed, right, the betrayal, and all these elements, right, was stuff we deliberately put into the story, into the film. How family can even turn against each other because I want to be the only one who's rich, right? So what we did was like we gathered a lot of stories from different areas in Zimbabwe where the diamonds are found, and when you watch the film, every scene like there's like some gruesome scenes where someone's stomach is being cut out because they swallowed a diamond and the person wants their diamond back, and would hear these stories, right? And you're like, whoa, and they're like, yeah, you see that guy, his brother was killed like that because he swallowed a diamond. So we were trying to be true to that narrative and to also show how dangerous that whole game is, right? It's really sad, like, because these guys are illegal, so they're doing this like in areas where it's not even allowed, so they can get away with all these murders and everything. So we're trying to stay true to the story, Like I remember like when we're doing these screenings, like there's scenes where people were like, oh, and we tried as much to be to be as authentic to what's happening, and to try and make someone feel like, oh, they actually killed this person because of that. They actually did, so that at least even if it reaches to people who are doing that, it will have some kind of an impact.
And what has been the impact according to you?
So to be fair, it's not really out to the public yet.
Oh, yeah.
You know how with film, with the film cycle, like when you start doing festivals, you guys are just privy to watch it because you are at the festival, but it's not out to the public yet. So to be honest, I'm actually still looking forward to see how people are gonna react to it when it blows up. But when we released the trailer, people went crazy about it because it's a story that everyone knows and everyone is curious. Like, oh, okay, what's really happening in those diamond areas? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But
Yeah.
it's so sad because based on what you're explaining, are these events still happening in Zimbabwe? Like people killing each other
Yes.
for diamond?
As we speak, as we sit here, it's happening. Illegal diamond mining is happening right now. Yeah. Yeah.
And then if these things are happening, what has led to its escalation? Has there been an escalation, or maybe it's better that?
I think what leads to people resorting to that is like the state of an economy, like it's poverty. Then people are pushed to a corner where it's like do or die. Like they'll be like, okay, I'm hungry anyway,
Yeah.
you know. So if I'm gonna die, better I will die trying. So it turns people into becoming those monsters. Yeah.
And during the filmmaking process, how easy was it to make those bloods, whatever all those scenes? When I was watching, I'm like, let me not watch this part. What was that like? Was that a lot of work, or because you had quite some experience, you worked around it?
Yes. So it indeed it was a lot of work. But what really helped was the team. Like the team that was behind everything was really amazing, and the time we also took to prepare.
Yeah.
Like we had a lot of time for pre-production, so we really put in a lot of time in pre-production. Like
By
even
time, like how long?
almost over 6 months of pre-production for the film. Yeah. So even all that blood, like doing tests, everything, we tested everything over and over before we were satisfied. Because like with the effects, we wanted everything to be in camera. There was no visual effects. There was no we're gonna edit it in post or whatever. Like everything you see was done on set. It's on camera. Like even cutting the stomach, it's on camera. It's not CGI. So it's like figuring out, okay, how are we gonna cut rip open someone's gut? We're figuring how are we gonna cut someone's leg? We're figuring that out, and we want to see the piece of the leg on the side. We're all figuring that out, all like say in camera, because we didn't have the luxury of a budget of saying, oh, okay, we'll do it in visual effects. Yeah, so we had to be creative. So the team had to come together and be like, okay, how best can we do this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
You have talked about budget, so now I'm curious to say, I know there are people that are listening to this podcast and
Yeah.
wondering how easy is it to come up with funds to make a story as real as you told it when there were killings and things like that?
So it's not easy. I'll tell you that. We have, as a team, a model that we have adopted to use when we're making film productions, where remember that collaborative effort I told you about,
Yeah.
where we come together as different teams, different values, right? And knowing that, okay, we don't have big budgets, big amounts of money to pay each other, so we come together and treat each production as a company, and say, okay, for your efforts, it's a shareholding. You're getting this much for when we sell. So everyone who's involved is so invested in it because they know, okay, this is my project as well. This is my product as well. Yeah. So it's not like, oh, we just paid you, bye. Everyone is like, this is our baby. Let's push it. Let's go. Yeah. So that's sort of like the model that we've been using for the last 3-4 projects, and it's been working. Yeah.
And it has worked.
Yeah.
In a way. It has
Yeah.
worked for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your own opinion, what are the main implications of illegal mining for a community, a society, and the environment?
Well, there's a lot, like number one, the environment itself, like you're degrading it, right? Number two, it's illegal. You go to prison. You separate your family. Like imagine if you're sentenced to 10 years of your family man, you know, it kills that, right? And also like just this element of because people, let's say for example, like in Zimbabwe,
Yes,
when there was when there was the when there was the diamond when there was the diamond rush when it started, right? When it started, everyone like so there's this area called like Mutare, Eastern Highlands, Marange, where these diamonds are found, right? Loads and loads of them. Uh, it's a pity how like everyone would want a piece, and when you get something, you become greedy. You want more and more. Like, and that's like one of the themes that big in the film where there's a scene in the film where someone says, if you have $1,000, you want a million. If you have a million, you want a billion. If you have a billion, you want a trillion. Like you keep wanting more and more and more. So that's what's causing this, where people keep trying to get more and more of these free diamonds that they're digging up illegally. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
because then this is what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have there been any ways in which the government has tried to curb some of these?
Yeah. So I think even now, like it's not as crazy as it used to be because even some of the areas are now protected and guarded. So people are no longer doing what like the number of people that are now like doing it illegally are very few compared to when it was happening when it started. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And because I know you have certain objectives when this film is out, what are some of those things that you want maybe the government or the public to pay attention to once they see the story?
Mm, I don't know if I'm pushing for some government agenda, but not really. Uh, so for us, basically, it's like social commentary. It's like what is happening in our society, and also as a way of living history. Like we don't have a culture of documenting as Africans, right? We don't. A lot of our stuff, even when you're reading, it's written by white people, by the people who, like, if you start to want to read about colonization or back in the day, you never find a book written by a black person.
Yeah.
It's the colonizer was writing these books, right? So it's something that film can do, where we can document a piece of our own history. Like even like with Zambian history, Zambian independence, everything, all that. I can tell it's not on film. It's a film on its own. Like if you look at like Europeans and Americans, they're very good at like putting and documenting their history through film, through entertainment, and getting people to watch. So that's one of the goals, where this is a part of our history, a part of it happened. So by putting it on screen, it will be there forever. It will live forever. So even in 100 years, someone can watch and be like, oh wow, in 2000 and what this was happening. So that's one of the main goals that also drives us to say, okay, let's contribute to the future, to film. Yeah, yeah,
I know you've done quite a lot of films and
yeah.
you've had quite a lot of experience. How are you ensuring that? Because you have mentioned that we don't have so much of culture of documenting.
Yeah.
How are you ensuring that maybe youths can have this culture, and how are you creating systems and making it easier for other aspiring filmmakers to also, tap into this habit or rather culture?
So what we try is, like with every production that we do, we take in interns, we take in like aspiring filmmakers who want to get into the industry, to be part of the production, to shadow people, to shadow a producer, to shadow a cinematographer, and also like I do a lot of like guest lecturing at like film schools in universities, and also try and hammer like that mindset into upcoming filmmakers, to start thinking in that direction and be inspired to document, to tell stories about ourselves, about our history. Like I'm very passionate about that. And I feel like we haven't even tapped any of those stories. There's so many of them. And we haven't started putting them on screen. So we have a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
to tell our stories. Yeah.
A lot of Zambian filmmakers have this complaint of people can have good stories. Like a filmmaker will put up a good story, but the market isn't ready to receive that good story. Is that also the challenge for you in Zimbabwe, or maybe you have had a better reception?
I think it's for me it's like a lot of times when you're making a film, people don't really understand like their target market. Like when you're making something, I always like to think with the end in mind. Like okay, who's gonna watch this? Because we tend to want to dictate to the audience, say, I've made this, you should watch it. But what does the audience want to watch? So it's almost like a catch-22 of trying to figure out, okay, the market I want to make stuff for, what do they want to watch? And then, because you can't force someone to watch something that they don't want to watch.
Yeah.
It's like with ordinary,
For certain stories,
with ordinary,
you have to be watching them.
but it's also how it's packaged as well. Like ordinary people, if you make like a document, ordinary people are not really interested in documentaries, right? Ordinary people like something that's fictionalized or dramatized, and they can relate to it, and it's being acted. So it's understanding the market. I would feel like to say, okay, my market, how do I approach and attack my market? Yeah.
And with that logic in mind, then how have you been able to penetrate the Zimbabwean market?
So like I said, it's with our Zimbabwe market, right? It's almost like a very conservative society. It's almost similar to Zambia, I'd say. And so that even affects the stuff you make, right? I remember this one time, we made this film called Escape, which I co-directed with a British director, right? And this film had a lot of sex scenes and all that, right? And the backlash that I got from people, right? Where so like other people were like, oh yeah, we like it, but a lot of people like, and all these articles coming out saying, oh, yes, what is it doing? Yes, but the funny thing is like you're thinking like everyone in their homes they have a TV, and every second, if you're watching Western content, every Western film will come up with a sex scene, but they don't mind that, but they don't want it from our local content.
And why is that? Why is it that
I don't understand.
I would prefer watching telemovie and I'm
Yes.
okay with it. But
the moment you see a Zambian film and they kiss, you're like, what are they trying to do?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Why do you think that is the case?
I think like I'm saying, we're a conservative society, right? So there's things we would say, people act like they don't do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like I remember someone coming to me and saying, oh, why would you show a sex scene? And then I'm asking them about Western films, like, yeah, I like that film, I like it, but I'm like, but there's a sex scene in that film that you're talking about. Like, yeah, but it's them, it's the West. It's like, yeah, it's like a double standard, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
According to you, would you say Zimbabwe has embraced the Njagu films, or just
I hope so. I hope so. Well, I think to be fair, Zimbabweans they've supported us a lot. Like every time we release a film, like even with Ngoda, we released Ngoda in Zimbabwe, and the support was nuts. You know, so I would say like back home, people are really accepting what we're doing, supporting what we're doing, and that really inspires us to keep going. To be honest, yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And if at all you were to be sitting right now, I'm drifting away from
Yeah.
the conversation. If at all you were to sit right now with your favorite or film icon, what would it be? Like, who's that film icon that you have been like, okay, yeah, this one.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
You probably know his films.
Okay.
He's done Inception. Have you watched Inception?
Inception. I'm not sure.
The Dark Knight, the Batman
Batman,
one.
yes.
Tenet.
Tenet, no.
He's that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's extremely talented. You know, like he pushes the boundary in a way that I really like. You know, like even when I was telling you, like, oh, we were like, oh, let's shoot everything in camera, no effects. He inspires me to do that, like, because he doesn't shoot green screen. Like, if it's an effect, he wants to do it live on camera. So yeah, I'm really inspired by him.
Let's say he's the one that is having a conversation with you. What question would you ask him?
That's a good one. I would ask him, when are we collaborating?
Oh, okay. I wonder what his response would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have that dream project with him.
I wouldn't say dream project. Like it's almost like if I could push boundaries, like him, you know, that would be something, and that's something I'm trying and thriving to. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Ngoda. With you selecting the three brothers and to be the characters, what did you want to highlight per se in that particular movie? So the use of the three brothers as the
Okay,
characters.
okay. So that's a good one. So with the three brothers, they're distinctly different, right? Like you have the big brother, Tindo, played by Eddie Sandifono, who who's like the is quiet and calculative. He's full of regret because of the decisions he has made previously. He feels let down by his father, you know. And then you have the middle one, Toro, who's like steady. He's a Christian, right? And listens to his brother, like he really looks up to his bigger brother. And then you have the younger brother who's like a recluse, drunkard, you know, no direction. But the one thing that ties them together is this one mission of them saying, okay, let's try and save money to buy back our land that was taken away from us. And then the little brother sort of like, oh, I don't want to spoil the the narrative of the story, but it's like we're trying to put together like different themes of like greed, betrayal, and family. Yeah, yeah, putting that whole family element. And also one thing that was very strong in Ngoda was like uh, juxtaposing tradition and religion, right? Where as Africans, we have our own traditions, which in some way, when compared to like Christianity and religion, they're shunned as like black magic, what's dark, what's bad. So we're trying to highlight and look and give it a different look of saying, okay, it is actually part of our own culture as well. Like it's part of our tradition. And also Christianity in its own right, it's its own religion. So without delving into like, oh, okay, saying, okay, this is wrong or this is right. So it was something that was really key and important to us to bring out in Ngoda. Yeah.
Nice. It's not you're not giving the full part of it
Yes.
because people have to.
Yeah.
And then after watching and listening to this
Yes.
podcast, they'll be more like,
Yeah.
I want to see this for myself.
Yeah.
Because it's really mind blowing.
Yeah.
The story is mind blowing.
Thank you.
You had mentioned to say you've been coming to Zambia quite.
Yes.
Should we be expecting some collaboration with some
Definitely.
Zambian producers?
Definitely. Like there's a lot of creatives here who I feel like we can collaborate together. We can work on something. I know a lot of my Zambian brothers here. Yoweli Chungu is a very good friend. You know, Owas Ray. You know, Henry BJ Piri, like Nkoma Lawrence Thompson. Like I know a lot of these guys. And we've been talking for a while. You know, like to see how best we can collaborate. I've even worked with Henry PJ. We worked on a film together that we shot in Zimbabwe called The Letter, and he actually came down to Zimbabwe to shoot it. He was one of the leads, you know. So yeah, it's in the works.
Yes. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you've been. You have this. They call you the Nama legend. National, is it the Merit Award?
Yes, National Arts Merit Award.
Yes. How did it get to that point for you to be considered a legend?
I don't know. Like
listening to this and they're like, I also want to be that national legend, you know?
So what they do, I think they do it like every 20 years or something, where they choose like.
It's not an annual thing.
No, so they choose like 40 creatives who they feel like have made impact in Zimbabwe, and usually when people mention the word legend, we think old people.
Yes.
So I remember when the National Arts Council director called me to come to be part of it. In my head, I swear I thought I'm coming to present to someone, to a legend, you know, and for that recognition, for them to think like I'm there or I'm that. That's something that's humbling, you know, for such an honor, you know. But for me personally, I just feel like, okay, I'm still working to get to a stage where I'll be a legend someday. But if I'm being recognized now, it's a good pat on the back to say, what we're doing is headed somewhere. Yeah.
Other than Zimbabwe, which other awards have you received?
So I think in 2011, which was like my first international award, I got Best Director at the American International Film Festival for foreign language film for my film called The Gentleman that we did in 2011. That was like really, really exciting. And then I was named top 35 under 35 in media by this organization in Washington and South Africa. We've done. I've got so many like festival awards from international festivals for films that we've done. Best writing, best cinematography. Yeah. Even with Cook Off, got a lot of outside international awards in Seattle.
Of course, we made quite some good movies.
Yeah. So it's been a nice ride, I would say, where that recognition it's inspiring to keep going. Like okay, at least what we're doing is being recognized, and we can keep.
We definitely need more of that recognition.
Yes.
Southern Africa.
Yeah.
Because then it shows to say, wow, there's so much Southern Africa.
Yes.
What's been happening.
Yes, and it's a global stage. Like film is a global stage. So you can't just say, I'm a success in Zambia alone. It has to resonate to the whole world. Let's sell the Zambian story to the world. Let's tell people about Zambia through film. Film's got so much power. Yeah.
To wind up, what is that one question you were hoping I would ask you, but I haven't asked you? But now you can answer to that question. I think I was going to ask you.
To be honest, I don't know. Like I was going with the flow. So and I know I can see your laptop with your questions there, and I tried to take a peek, but I can't read from here. So
I haven't followed much of that.
yeah, I don't know. What's my favorite color? It's blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite sport?
Funny, I'm not that much into sport, eh?
Yet you look athletic.
Really? I'm not into sport. Like there's times where people are like, oh, soccer, whoa, Premier League, and someone will be like, oh, Manchester last night, and like I don't know. It's actually funny. Like I'm a filmmaker, and if I'm to have like a pastime, I like watching movies. Like I watch a movie every day. Every day I watch it.
Every day.
Every day I watch a film. Yeah. So yeah.
Anyway, how do you envision the Zimbabwean film, I know it's not yet an industry,
Yeah.
film community or sector in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, with the efforts that we're putting, I see us being able to have like studios even in Zimbabwe where we can be making films like on like big sets. Because one of my dreams is to have like a studio set up in Zimbabwe or even in Zambia, something that's so close that we can be able to use, and it will make our life easy. Because like right now, one of the biggest drawbacks is like with locations. If I want to shoot like a lounge scene, I have to find someone's house and be like, oh, can we shoot in your house? Because we don't have studios, So by the time we get to start having studios, it'll make the work faster, cheaper, and yeah.
Okay.
So that's the
your
dream.
vision is seeing studios.
Yeah, that's the dream. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Final remarks to any aspiring filmmaker listening or watching this podcast.
I would say whatever that dream is that you're feeling, might not even be about writing or film or anything. Keep scratching the itch. I call it the itch. Like you'll always feel it, right? And don't stop, no matter what anyone says, because it's your dream, right? So whatever hurdle, whatever, keep fighting, keep throwing punches. You make it. Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much for
Thank you.
I've had a great time.
Me too.
I went. A part of me went to Zimbabwe, so I felt very good having this conversation. It just helped me understand how diverse we are, but also connected we are as a people.
True.
And this is something that storytelling helps us to, see.
Yeah.
You came for Sotambe.
Yes.
This is what
Yes.
film and storytelling.
Exactly. It's all up. Yes. It unites people. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless of our differences and whatnot,
True.
we're able to unite
True.
with storytelling.
Yes.
And I think that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Well, we have. Before we get to that, I actually have a gift for you.
Oh, really?
I was almost forgetting.
Oh, really?
So we gift notebooks to
Oh,
all
wow.
our
Oh, wow.
guests
Oh,
on
wow.
the Kanizatu podcast. Because
Thank
I
you
know
so
you're a
much.
storyteller,
Yes.
you like
Yes.
writing all the
Yes.
time.
Thank you
Just
so much.
encourage you
Thank you so much.
to continue doing so.
Yeah.
And why we do this is because Kanizatu is powered by Sotren Publishers,
Okay.
a publishing firm that focuses on producing, promoting, and marketing.
Nice. Nice.
So we like people to continue writing.
Yes.
Because
And I like writing like on paper like this. I don't like typing. So I will write first on paper,
okay.
then type later, so that I want the original on paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to continue writing, because I think other than film, you could be inspired to do a book.
Yes, I am gonna write a book.
You're gonna write
Yes. I am gonna write a book. Yeah.
So we encourage you to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's what Nkani do.
Yeah.
We have come to the end of this episode. I sat down with Joe, one of Zimbabwe's greatest filmmakers. And if you go on YouTube and Google, really just search for Joe Njagu and
Yes.
you'll find out what I mean. Because this man is projecting more than just a positive narrative of Africa. He's telling our stories in a way that people would see Africa for what it really is. And that is very inspiring. Kanizatu is that platform where your favorite storytellers come and go. We discuss all things related to culture, arts, mindset change, history, in order for people to understand us better. Because if you cannot connect to your culture and your arts, then you might be having a mistaken identity. So we are here to help you connect more with your roots. My name is Rinah. This episode has been powered by Sochen Publishers, a publishing firm based in Lusaka, Zambia. What we do is that we produce, promote, and market Zambian and African literature. So this is one of those episodes where we have been discussing all things film, but in general storytelling. And I encourage you to subscribe and follow us for more of such content as we come back to you again next time. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, night, or whichever time that you're going to be tuning into this podcast. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Nkanizatu, the pod that tells indigenous stories every day, the platform that tells you what's good and what's odd for young people and elderly alike in the areas of art, history, and culture preservation. And now your host, Rinah.